A very good afternoon to the viewers of Sandeep English World. I am Elamanda, working as an assistant professor in the Department of English at SRKIT Vijayawada. I deem it a great privilege, a unique honor, to talk a few lines about my teacher, Mr. T. Venkateswarlu, who is popularly known as TV Sir. As you all know, TV Sir is an eminent speaker, tremendous teacher, a wonderful writer, and a great grammarian. This is what is known to everybody. But there is something else which you need to know. I know it personally because we both hail from a same village. I know many turmoils and hardships he has encountered in his previous life. He worked hard in the fields. To meet his college expenses, he planted vegetable trees and grew vegetables. He is the man who came from a humble family. Even though he was born in a poor family, his poverty couldn't stop him. He turned his poverty into a boon which drove him towards success. His poverty couldn't even stop him from going to the higher studies. He has been industrious from his childhood days. He used to cycle 10 kilometers every day to reach his college, and very industrious, which made him very disciplined. The laborious work done by TV Sir in his initial stage drove him towards success. And now he's a man of success. He's a symbol of success. Every student of today, in the present generation, should take him as an inspiration. He showed his meritorious performance during his college days by participating in essay writing, debating, elocution, and some other literary competitions. With an intention of bringing the problems of society, he used to write letters to the media, and all his letters were published. They focused on the burning issues of those days, and it shows his awareness of society. And as I already told you, he's a great writer. He has written some books, namely Sandeep Spoken English, English for All Occasions, Sandeep English Grammar, which are quite useful for all the competitive aspirants. I have gone through all the three books, and they are quite innovative and creative, and I found they are very useful to the students of these days. I watch his videos now and then. They are very, very useful. I wholeheartedly appreciate his commitment and dedication towards English language. He has a strong passion towards English language. And I will be failing in my duty if I do not mention about his philanthropic activities. Ever since the inception of Sandeep Spoken English Institute, TV Sir has been supporting a number of students, both financially and morally. He has given coaching in D.Ed, TTC, BEd, RRB, and PG for many poor students without expecting any monetary benefits. And I very humbly say that I am one of those several poor students who were supported by him. He was the one who gave me moral support when I was in doldrums. He was the one who tapped my shoulders when I was in low spirits. That's why I will never forget TV Sir. Hats off to TV Sir.
Hi friends and my dear students. Welcome back to our channel Sandeep English World. In today's video, I would like to cover one topic, that is degrees of comparison. The topic of degrees of comparison of adjectives or adverbs, it is quite useful for both the competitive and academic aspirants. Look at the given topic. There are 3 degrees of comparison of adjectives or adverbs. What are they? Positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. say that one example that is given for each degree. Positive degree, the original adjective is said to be in the positive degree. For example, good. And the comparative form of the positive degree, that is good, is better. And the superlative form of the same is best. Good, better, best. Positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. When we are asked to change one degree into the other degree from the viewpoint of both the competitive and academic exams, we should be familiar with some forms of adjectives or adverbs. Unless we have the knowledge of some forms of adjectives or adverbs, we can't do it perfectly. So let's know some examples regarding different forms of adjectives or adverbs. As I have said just now, the original adjective is said to be in the positive degree. Positive degree. Positive degree in the sense that when we make a comparison of certain adjectives, that particular one is said to be at the ordinary level, that is positive. When we make a comparison of one thing to the other one or one person to other person, that is comparative. And when the comparison is made at the highest level or at the first rate level, that is said to be in the superlative degree. This topic is mainly designed to compare different objects. One person is compared to the other one, or one person is compared to many other persons. Like that, the comparison at the highest level or at the ordinary level or the comparative like. See some forms of adjectives or adverbs. Great. The original adjective is said to be in the positive degree. We can get the comparative form and superlative form of this positive one by adding er and est to form the comparative and superlative. To form the comparative form of this one, we have to add er to the positive degree and we have to add est to the superlative degree. Thus, we get great, greater, greatest. Similarly, high, by adding er, higher, by adding est, highest, high, higher, highest. Like that, we get certain degrees of comparison. Next one, big. For certain adjectives, by adding a double consonant plus er. For example, this consonant ends with this adjective ends with the consonant G, and we have to add double consonant. In the sense, the adjective ends with G, we have to add another G, big, bigger, another consonant plus er, double consonant plus er and double consonant plus est. We get the comparative and superlative degrees. Big, bigger, biggest. Similarly, thin, thinner, thinnest. But double consonant plus er and double consonant plus est. Thin, thinner, thinnest. Next one, rare. This adjective is different from these adjectives. This adjective ends with the letter E. The adjectives which end with the letter E take only R to form the comparative and ST to form the superlative. Only by adding R and ST to the given or original adjective, that is positive one, we get the comparative and superlative. Say rare, rarer, rarest. Similarly, sure, this ends with E. Sure, surer, and surest by adding est. There are certain adjectives which end with the letter Y, costly. In such cases, we have to delete that final Y and we have to add IER to form the comparative. By deleting the letter Y, we have to add IER to form the comparative and IEST to form the superlative. Thus we get costly, costlier, costliest, holy, holier, holiest. and there are certain adjectives which are very lengthy in appearance. For certain adjectives we have to prefix more to form the comparative degree and most to form the superlative degree. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Let me give you another example orally. Difficult, somewhat lengthy in appearance. Difficult. Most of the adjectives which have more than 2 syllables take only more and most to form the comparative and superlative. Difficult, more difficult, most difficult. Intelligent, more intelligent, most intelligent. Like that. There are certain adjectives which are very irregular in comparison. There is no regularity. Here we get EREST, EREST, IER, IEST. Like that. We get some regular comparison, but in case of certain adjectives there is no regularity. Some irregular comparison is there. For example, bad. The comparative form of bad is worse. Superlative, worst. We should not say bad, bad or baddest like that. Bad, worse, worst. Similarly, little, less, least. As it is already said, good, better, best. It also comes under irregular comparison. Only by being familiar with these forms of adjectives and adverbs, we can go ahead to do any exercise. For the convenience of the students, this topic is divided into different models. Let's have a glance at the very first model. In the exams, how the question is asked, you are asked to change the superlative degree into comparative and the comparative degree into positive. And the positive degree should be changed into superlative, and sometimes the positive may be changed into comparative. See, Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Here, Everest is the highest mountain in the world. This is said to be the superlative degree because the adjective that is given in the sentence is in the superlative degree. Highest, highest, greatest, smallest, biggest, thickest, thinnest, best, worst. If you find ST form or EST form, you have to understand that it is in the superlative degree. So, here Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Here that Everest is compared to many mountains and almost all the mountains in the world, and it is said to be the highest one. So at the supreme level the comparison is made so that it is said to be in the superlative degree. And to change this superlative degree into comparative, see, Everest is higher. It is the superlative degree, but as we are writing the comparative degree, we have to use the comparative adjective. In place of highest, we have to use higher, and the definite article the is deleted. Everest is higher than any other, and the comparative degree here, that comparative adjective is always followed by than any other in the first model. Than any other, because Everest is higher than any other mountains. Everest is higher than any other mountain in the world. That is comparative degree. And how to change the same into positive degree? Every positive degree of this model begins with no other, no other, no other. And what matter should be written here? The matter that is given after adjective, or we can say the complement of the adjective. And highest is the adjective, and something that is written after the adjective, that is the complement of the adjective. So this complement of the adjective should be written as it is. A mountain in the world. No other mountain in the world is. In every sentence there must be a verb. Everest is, and here also there must be a verb. No other mountain in the world is so high as Everest. Here that the main subject that is Everest, here should be written at the end. And as it is the positive degree, we have to write only the positive adjective. Highest superlative degree, higher comparative degree, and high positive degree. And we have to use that positive degree here in between the two words. So as, so high as, so great as, so small as, so big as, like that. So high as Everest. That is positive degree. And let's have a glance at the other second example. Ravi is the cleverest boy in the class. Superlative degree. The cleverest. And comparative form of cleverest is cleverer. Ravi is cleverer than any other. Every time we have to use than any other. Cleverer than any other boy in the class. That is comparative degree. And the positive degree and the model. This model always begins with no other. No other, and the complement of this adjective, boy in the class. No other boy in the class is so clever. The original adjective, that is positive degree. So clever as Ravi. The meaning will be same, no difference at all. Whether we speak superlative degree or comparative or positive, the meaning will be same. Ravi is the cleverest boy in the class. You see, he is the only clever one and there is no other boy. He is the cleverest. He is the topper. Ravi is cleverer than any other boy in the class. Here the same meaning is carried, but here some comparison is made. Ravi is compared to some other boy, and some other boy, and compared to all of them, he is cleverer than any other boy, like that. But here it is said to be in the positive degree, in the normal way. Comparison at the ordinary level, or normal level. No other boy in the class is so clever as Ravi. Ravi is a clever boy, and no other boy is like that. Means he is the cleverest, like that. And look at the third example. Iron. Iron is the most useful metal in nature. The most useful metal. This is the superlative degree. And here that the is deleted. Most useful. Superlative degree becomes more useful. Comparative. Iron is more useful than any other metal in nature. That is comparative. And every positive degree begins with no other. No other. And the complement of the adjective after useful, what is there? Metal in nature. No other metal in nature is so useful as iron. This is the original adjective. So that original adjective should be used in the positive degree. Is so useful as iron. The same meaning is carried in all the 3 degrees of comparison. This is model number 1, and let's pass on to the second model. Look at the second model. Ambani is one of the richest persons in India. This is superlative degree. So this model can be remembered by the words one of the, and one of the richest persons. This one of the is always followed by a plural noun in this model, and this one of the followed by the superlative adjective. Ambani is one of the richest persons. The first model differs from this model. According to the first model, Ambani is the richest person. So he is the only rich person, like that in that model. But here Ambani is one of the richest persons. There are some richest persons. He is one among them. He is one of the richest persons in India. That is superlative degree, because that adjective given here is in superlative. And to change this into comparative, richest becomes richer. Ambani is richer than many other persons. In the first model, we have given than any other. There is a slight difference. There than any other, but here than many other. Sometimes you can use than most other also. Than most other. Than many other persons, or than most other persons in India. That is comparative. In the positive degree, in this model, we have to begin with very few. In the first model, we use no other, but here this is always found in plural. So we have to begin with very few, and it is followed by the noun. The complement of the adjective should be written here. very few persons in India are so rich as Ambani. Are so rich as Ambani. So as, and in between we have to use the original adjective that is in the positive degree. Rich, richer, richest. Positive, comparative, superlative. But here we have to use only the plural verb because the subject becomes plural. Very few persons in India are. So like that, Ambani is one of the richest persons in India. Ambani is one of the richest persons in India, superlative degree. Ambani is richer than many other persons in India, comparative. Very few persons in India are so rich as Ambani, that is positive. Next example. This is one of the oldest buildings in our town. This is superlative degree. One of the oldest buildings. Oldest. Superlative becomes a comparative, older. This is older than many other buildings. Here, the comparative adjective is always followed by than many other or than most other. Than many other buildings in our town. Comparative. Very few, and the complement of the adjective. Buildings in our town. Very few buildings in our town are so old as this. We have to say like this. This is one of the oldest buildings in our town, superlative degree. This is older than many other buildings in our town, comparative. Very few buildings in our town are so old as this. This is positive. Next. Teaching is one of the noblest professions. Superlative degree. One of the followed by the superlative adjective and then plural noun. Teaching is one of the noblest professions. Noblest, superlative becomes comparative, nobler. Teaching is nobler than many other professions. This is comparative. And positive, very few professions are so noble as teaching. See once again, teaching is one of the noblest professions. Superlative. Teaching is nobler than many other professions. Comparative. Very few professions are so noble as teaching. This is positive. This is in brief about the second model. Look at the third model. The pen is mightier than the sword. The pen is mightier than the sword. In this model, we have only comparative degree and a positive degree. There will be no superlative degree at all in this model because the comparison is directly between two objects, between two persons, between two things, between two places, like that. The pen is mightier. This comparative degree is always followed by than in this model. Mightier than the sword. And while changing the comparative into positive, we have to use this object at first and the first object as the last one. The sword is not. Say when the given statement is positive, we have to use a negative here. When the given statement is negative, we have to use the positive here. This point should be remembered. The sword is not so mighty as the pen. So mighty as the pen. Between so and as we have to use the original adjective, that is positive degree. So we get the same meaning. Next, example is better than precept. The comparison here is between example and precept. Better than precept. So we have to begin with this precept. Here not is not there, so we have to use not. Precept is not so good. The positive adjective for this. Precept is not so good as example. That is positive. Next one. Sukanya cooks more decently than Sujata. Here that cooking of two persons is compared. Sukanya cooks more decently than Sujata. So she is better. So we have to begin with Sujata. Sujata, here it is given positively. Cooks, and the negative one for that is does not cook. We should not say cooks not cooks, like that. We have to use does not cook. Sujata does not cook so decently as Sukanya. Rajini is not more popular than Kamal. the comparison between Rajni and Kamal regarding their popularity. Rajni is not more popular than Kamal. Here it is given negatively. So this not should be removed here. And we have to begin with Kamal. Kamal is, we have to delete this negative word not here. Kamal is as popular as Rajni. When the sentence is given positively without using not, we have to use as. Only in such context we have to use as. In the other context generally we use so as, but in such context we have to use as popular as great as small as holy as, like that we have to use. And that's the end of the third model. And again there is one more model, that is the fourth one, and very rarely asked. This model is very rarely asked in some other exams, and let me give you only one example. Rama is not the best boy in the college. Here there is a slight difference between the first model and this model. In first model we say, by just covering this not, Rama is the best boy in the college. First model, Rama is not the best boy in the college. We are saying negatively by using not. Is not the best boy in the college. Then Rama is not better. For the comparative degree for best is better, and not as it is should be used here. Rama is not better than some other boys in the college. In case of the first model we have to use comparative degree followed by than any other. In the second model we use comparative degree followed by than many other. But in the fourth model we use comparative degree followed by than some other, than any other, than many other, than some other, followed by plural noun, than some other boys in the college. And in case of positive degree, some boys, some, we have to begin with only some. In case of the first model we use no other. In case of the second model we use very few. In case of the fourth model we use only some. And this complement of the adjective that begins with we have to use only plural for this. Some boys in the college are at least as good as Rama. At least we have to use these words newly. At least, as great as good as big as heavy as, like that. At least as good as Rama. And that's the end of this topic. I hope that you are fully satisfied with this very topic of degrees of comparison of adjectives and adverbs. And let's meet in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Happy watching.